Hello, everybody. This is Carla, and this time I am back with a review for episode 4 of season 3 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was titled Devils You Know. So basically, I continue to be impressed with this episode. The last couple of episodes have been sort of half and half. Like they start off slow and then they get going. This one was all good. Like seriously, I really liked this episode. Even in the beginning, like when we were with the Inhumans in that apartment, and there wasn't really anything huge happening. I found it interesting. Like they added lots of little details that made the episode interesting, and just well, first of all, there's Lash. Now we know so much more about him. I'm still not quite into the way he looks, but I love that we're learning about him. I love the idea that we know more about him, and yet we don't really know. We have little glimpses of what he is and what he wants to do, but we don't have the whole picture yet, and that is fantastic because that's the way villains should be built up through the season. I think it's really great. I liked his powers a lot, like the way he could just open holes in things. That was awesome. I like the idea that he's convinced, and the people who are with him, like the IT guy, they're convinced that he's doing something he has to do, kind of. And it's not kind of an angel of mercy type of thing. Like he's not putting people out of their misery. It's just kind of damage control in a way. And I really like that idea because even if you compare it to Mac's analogy of a white shark, which is just acting on instinct, no, Lash knows what he's doing, and he thinks he's doing it for the right reason. So I find that very, very interesting, and just the idea that he knows the Inhumans from before. He's not just after people who are new to this. I mean, we know he went after Lincoln, and now he went after the other 3 Inhumans that were in the apartment. Like he's going after the old Inhumans. So it's kind of interesting. Like, how does he know them? He has names. So how does he know them? Where does he have that knowledge from? Is he working for someone else? Who is he? Just the idea that he can transform. He's not Lash all the time. He's just someone who transforms into this Lash persona. So does that person have the same philosophy the whole time, even when he's human? Or is it just a transformation into Lash that makes him kind of think that Inhumans should be controlled or destroyed or something? I mean, it's so interesting because we learned so much about him in this episode, and yet I'm still not sure of anything regarding him. So that was great. The idea that there's an Inhuman whose power is finding other Inhumans, that is fantastic. I love that. Because like in all these universes where you have superpowered people, one of the, if not the most important superpowers is to know where to find other superpowered people, and I think that was really neat. I don't know what Lash is going to do now that he doesn't have that dude anymore, but I find it really interesting. Another thing I loved in this episode is, there's of course, we see more of the joint work between S.H.I.E.L.D. and the ATCU, and just the banter between Coulson and Price, it is priceless. Like seriously, no pun intended, but they have such great witty banter. I know I've said it 1,000 times already, but I love Constance Zimmer. She is so great, and just her addition and the way she bounces off of Coulson, it's just so fantastic. Like they're just talking, and I am entirely entertained. Like, nothing else is happening. There's no big action sequence going on. They're just there talking and, you know, zing, 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 and I just love it. They're so great. And I also really liked that people are, of course, finally calling Coulson out, because honestly, he hasn't been making really great choices lately, and I like that people are calling him out on it. Not just Daisy, but also Andrew called him out, even May a little bit. Like, he has to understand that he can't just become another Fury and just take the decision on his own because he thinks it's better. He has to know that people have a choice, and that it should be a collaborative effort on everyone's part. So yeah, you're the director, but just because you think it's better to work with the ATCU doesn't mean you have to trust him. And I like it when people remind him of that, because I do think, I mean, he's proven me wrong, because in the past they've gone down the path where he's like maybe getting too trusting, but in the end it turns out he wasn't. I would like to see him be like really in over his head, at least once, because he's not infallible. Sorry, he's not. And I do think he's made some bad choices recently, and I like that it's not just it's not just sloppy writing. They're taking it into account, really, that he's making bad decisions, and they have the other characters call him out on it. As far as Daisy goes, I found it very interesting that Lash didn't kill her, because it seemed at one point when she was looking out the hole and Lash was on his way out, before she caught him transforming, it seemed at some point that he kind of stood there, looked at her, and then left. And I wonder what that's about. I mean, does he have, I mean, we know he has a list. What is that list about? Is it like worthy people? Like, is Daisy one of the worthy people? So that was interesting. I also really, I have to say, and speaking about the Great White Shark thing, I think this is the first episode where I really, really, really liked Mac. It might have been it might have been because I'm a giant geek, and it might have been the fact that he made a Jaws reference, which I love. Like, he told Daisy that Jaws came out like 20 years before she was born. Made me laugh so much. Like, that was the first scene where I actually liked Mac. Most of the time he's kind of been there in the background, but he was great in this episode, and I really like that. That it feels that he has a personality right now, because before I didn't. He was always like so serious and just stating kind of the obvious a bit, and this one I really liked, and I can see why he's good partners with Daisy, actually. So that was really cool. If they keep going that way with Mac, then I'm all up for it. And speaking of characters that I've been bored with recently, also Ward. I actually liked Ward in this episode. Like, for, you know, I remember last episode I was like, well, if I don't have to see Ward for a while, I'd be okay with that. Guess what? Ward was cool. I mean, he was the same smarmy asshole jerk he's always been, but it was kind of cool in a way. I mean, I still think he's not really doing the Hydra thing. Like, what, there was one layer of protection for him. It took Hunter like 2 days to find him. Like, really, the old Hydra dudes, you, like, a low-level criminal will never have come anywhere near them, ever. Like, they made sure the hierarchy of the Hydra was so complex that they didn't have to deal with the riffraff, you know. Ward is obviously running this thing more like a, I don't know, like a cartel boss or like a gang leader, rather than an evil organization that Hydra used to be. So yeah, I mean, when he says, I'm going to rebuild Hydra, I'm like, yeah, no. But still, I liked him. I thought that the thing with Andrew, just the backup plan he had, because he knew they were going to come for him, was interesting. And I have to say, his face when he saw May for the first time, priceless. Like, you could just see him going, oh, shoot. It was so fun. I'm gonna have to screen cap that because I need that image of Ward's expression to have it, like, forever. And, I really liked him in this episode. He was kind of funny. I mean, again, he's no Von Strucker, he's no any of the other Hydra dudes. He's not like an old-time Hydra leader. He's just some kind of like ringleader for a gang or something like that. But he was cool. I like it. I don't have any complaints about Ward today, strangely enough. On the other side of that conflict, Hunter. Wow, dude, that was, I mean, wow. I kind of expected him to, like, not care when he was convincing May that the video was a fake and blah blah blah, and then he was just like sorry and he went to shoot up Ward. May is never going to speak to him again. I'm sure of it. Like, I'm so sure. But Hunter used to be a gun for hire, so I'm not surprised that he puts his vendetta over safety of the people he doesn't even care about. Like, he's barely interacted with Andrew, so why should he care? He's kind of blinded by his own anger against Ward, and that's very interesting because on the other hand you have May, who's really level-headed, and I mean she has as much, if not more, of a beef with Ward than Hunter does, and you still see that she thinks everything through. She keeps a level head. She knows when to go in and when to leave it, whereas Hunter just goes in because he thinks he has to seize his chance, and if not, he's gonna lose it. So that was really interesting. I wonder what Bobby's gonna say when Hunter comes back, because obviously May's not gonna go with him anywhere else. If he wants to go against Ward, he's gonna have to go on his own, I'm sure. But I'm thinking they will probably go back to HQ for a little bit, and I wonder what Bobby's gonna say when she hears about Andrew. Speaking of Andrew, I knew it! I hate it when I'm right, but damn it. God, Andrew, you were too good to be true. I'm so sorry to see him go. That's so sad. Like, seriously, I love Blair Underwood, and I'm not, like, devastated because I knew it was coming at some point, but God, man, I'm so sorry that we won't have Blair anymore on the show. That's that's all kinds of sad. That guy is gorgeous. I wanted to keep him around, and the fact that the last thing he and May talked about, they were arguing, basically. Like, she told him they were even, and then walked out, and then never talked to him again, and then he died. That's gonna weigh on her, definitely. And damn it, I really wanted them to say what happened between them, because I'm so curious. You have no idea. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat just wanting to know what the hell happened between them to like split them up again. I just want to know, and I get the feeling that now it's gonna take a while, but I really want to know. I really want to know, and I'm so upset that they didn't say it. Obviously this is going to weigh on May a lot. I wonder if this is going to make her come back to S.H.I.E.L.D. full time, or if it's going to send her off on another spiral of depression where she has to go and visit her father and stay with him and play golf for like the next 5 months. I hope not, because obviously May is amazing and an integral part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and obviously Coulson needs her because he's making all the bad decisions right now without her. So I guess we'll see, but obviously this is going to hit her pretty hard. And then the other thing is, of course, Fitz and Simmons. I mean, I'm glad. I was surprised that Bobby didn't tell anyone, honestly. I expected her to tell someone, just because, when someone I feel like when someone is in a self-destructive path of sorts, that sometimes you just have, it's better to go against what they want, as long as it keeps them safe, rather than keep their trust and allow them to do something they shouldn't do. So I wonder if maybe Gemma told Bobby a little bit more about it, so that she kind of, took a breath and realized that she wasn't going to do anything crazy. And that's why she didn't tell anybody else. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I like that, because this one is one of the first episodes where I actually see Bobby sort of like a real human being. She's always been kind of super agent, you know what I mean? Like, she's always about the job. Even when she was in Hunter, she's kind of always about the job. The job is the first thing, and even now that she's in rehab, she's still like working in the lab, and that's all we see of her. We see her on the job, and it was nice to have a reminder that, yeah, she's in rehab for a reason, and that reason is kind of weighing on her, especially since Hunter is off about to get himself killed or something. So that was nice. Bobby felt really real to me in this episode, and I really enjoyed it, because like Mac, she's been one of those characters where I don't really, I mean, Bobby's awesome and I love it when she kicks ass, but as a character, she hasn't really called out to me. Same with Mac. Like, I don't hate them, but I don't really care about them much either. And in this episode, she stood out to me. And then of course Gemma finally telling Fitz, which was, wow, that was intense. I mean, I like that she's going to open up. I hope we get to hear it and they don't just like totally skip it until the next, like, the next episode starts and they've already had the conversation and we just didn't never hear it. I would not like that. Just saying, ABC, Marvel, please listen to me. We need to hear her explanation, please. I'm thinking that Fitz is going to take it okay, as long as she explains it okay. Like, it doesn't seem like it's some kind of desperate need. It feels like she's being logical about it somehow. And if Fitz can find it in himself to help her, because when he was, when he had the brain damage, she sort of couldn't handle being around him. And she didn't really help him much. She tried, but she didn't know how. And I'm hoping that this time around, that when she's so desperately in need of going back, that Fitz is going to help her do it in a safe way, so that she doesn't get lost in there anymore, and she can come back home and not have this immense pressure to go back there again. So, I mean, I guess we have to see, but I'm hoping that he will actually help her, because she wants him to help. And if it's something like really important that she has to go back and do, and it's not just some instinctual kind of Stockholm syndrome thing, but it's actually something logical that she has to do, then yeah, I'm all for Fitz helping her, maybe even going with her if he really wants to be there the whole way. I don't know what Coulson's gonna say about it. I don't think Coulson's going to just let her jump into a portal, but you never know. I find it really interesting, because again, when Gemma was talking to Andrew, she's like, dude, I know, I mean, she didn't say dude, she doesn't say dude, I just say dude, but she's like, yeah, I know you're looking for signs of PTSD, but I'm fine. I mean, she knows all that stuff logically, so she knows what not to show. And I think that demonstrates that she is kind of in her full senses, but there's just something she has to do. So I've got a positive spin on it at the moment, unlike the previous episode where it was just screaming Stockholm syndrome. This time around, I'm like, no, okay, she knows what she's doing. She knows why she has to go back, and there's a good reason for that. So I'm hoping it is that, and I'm not just completely wrong about this. But I guess we'll see. Just overall, this was a pretty good episode. I really liked it. It never felt like it lagged. It never felt like conversations weren't important. Like, every conversation between two people had weight. I like that. I like the action. I like that Hunter finally got a shot in the bastard. Damn it. Could have killed him, but I guess they're not gonna kill Ward. At least not this early in the season. But I like that he got shot because ha 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 ha. You suck, Ward. But even when I say that, I liked Ward in this episode, so, you know, it was just kind of the whole package this time around. I really liked it. It was never slow. It was never inconsistent. It was interesting throughout. Had a lot of character moments as well as plot-driven moments as well as action. So, very balanced episode. I really like what they're doing with the characters. I really like that. I'm finally starting to like Mac and even Bobby. I enjoyed seeing them and their conversations in this episode. That was a good that was progress as far as I'm concerned. So I can't wait to see the next episode, what the fallout is, what's going to how May is going to be affected, because come on, that's just, it's gotta be harsh for her to lose her husband after the way they ended things, you know. I also want to see what Lincoln's doing. Like, is Lash still going after him? Obviously now he doesn't have any way to find him because he killed his own informant, but I want to see what's going on with him. He's clearly still on the run, but is he alive? I would hope that he is. Guess we'll see. And the whole Coulson ATCU thing, how it's going to go, because that cannot end well. I mean, I get the feeling, I don't know if that's just me, but I get the feeling that Lash is someone in the ATCU. I don't know why, but it would be a good twist, I think. Because I don't think Rosalind truly believes what she tells Coulson, but I don't know that everyone on her team is on the same page as her. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lash turns out to be, you know, someone in the ATCU or someone high up, who's in the pecking order, who's like working with the ATCU. So I can't wait to learn to know more about Lash, about what his relationship to Daisy and to the early Inhumans is, and just see where the Fitz and Gemma thing goes. Like, it was all really interesting. It was a great episode. I highly enjoyed it, and it was worth it. All the ups and downs of the previous episodes to get something like this. I mean, it's not one of those episodes where it's like, oh my god, season finale or mid-season finale or like climax episode. It wasn't one of those, but it was just an episode that was good and consistent throughout and kept you entertained throughout and kept you asking questions throughout. So, just great job this week, and I can't wait to see what next week brings, you know. So yeah, that's it for this review. Remember that you can go read and listen to more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews over at our webpage at thegeekypub.com. We also have reviews for other TV shows, books, movies, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to check it out. And I will catch you guys in my next review. Bye.